hypersleep Voyager. Imagine a beam of pure, suspended energy stretching endlessly across the velvet fabric of the universe. It is an ancient river of photons, glowing with a bioluminescent hum in the deep, eternal silence of the void. This is the cosmic limit, a weightless boundary where time itself slows down to a standstill, wrapping everything in a cool, protective stillness. Tonight we do not seek to chase the speed, nor do we try to catch it. Instead, we will simply dissolve into its slipstream, drifting alongside this celestial current where there is no destination, only the smooth, rhythmic journey through the dark. Just as light travels effortlessly through the vast emptiness, invite your own body to find its profound, quiet center. Feel the heaviness of your head sinking deeper into the pillow, grounding you like a solitary star in the night sky. Allow your jaw to soften, releasing gently as any remaining tension evaporates into the ether. Your eyelids are becoming heavy velvet curtains, drawn slowly against the world as you settle into the safety of this deep rest. Let us begin. Light moves through the empty void without ever making a sound. It is carried effortlessly across the vast distances of the cosmos, unbound by friction or resistance. In this deep silence, time itself seems to slow down, allowing the photons to drift like ancient dust motes caught in a sunbeam. There is no urgency here, only a steady, patient rhythm that has pulsed since the beginning of things. Picture a single ray of soft, bioluminescent blue light extending through the velvet blackness of space. It feels cool against the skin, a weightless embrace that dissolves the heaviness of the day. The surrounding darkness is not empty, but thick and soft, wrapping around you like a heavy blanket. The light does not rush to its destination, it simply flows, like a quiet river moving through an eternal night. You are watching it from a place of perfect safety, suspended in the dark, comforting emptiness where nothing is demanded of you. It is a gentle reminder that even the fastest things in the universe eventually find a place of perfect, quiet rest. The light reaching your eyes began its quiet journey ages ago. It has traveled across the invisible oceans of the universe, carried by a silent momentum that never fades. This illumination is ancient, a patient messenger from a time long forgotten, arriving now to wash over you with a gentle warmth. The intensity has been filtered out by the vast distance, leaving only a soft, glowing hum. Imagine standing beneath a sky where the starlight falls like a fine silver mist. It touches your face with the coolness of a calm night breeze, and you feel your body becoming heavy and relaxed under its subtle weight. The light is not bright, it is a dim, comforting glow that invites you to close your eyes and drift. Every photon is a tiny vessel of peace dissolving into the atmosphere around you. It is a reminder that you are safe in the present moment, held securely by the calm stability of the past. When light enters water, it slows down to a gentle pace. It is no longer rushing through the void, but is instead cradled by the density of the deep. The beams are bent and softened, their sharp edges dissolved by the liquid embrace. There is a sense of deepening, as if the light is sinking into a comfortable, heavy sleep. Picture yourself floating submerged in a clear, warm pool where the sunbeams dance slowly on the sandy floor. The light here is thick and golden, refracting in lazy, hypnotic patterns that ripple across your vision. You feel the buoyancy of the water supporting every muscle, relieving you of all gravity. The rhythm of the light matches the slow beat of your resting heart. It is quiet here, subterranean and safe, shielded from the noise of the world above. It is a gentle reminder that it is natural to slow down, to sink deep, and to let the world carry you. There are places where light itself decides to stay and rest. Near these heavy, invisible anchors in space, the active energy of the photon is soothed into stillness. The path bends, curling inward like a person curling up for sleep, drawn by an irresistible, comforting gravity. The motion becomes circular, a slow, eternal drift around the center, absolute quiet. Imagine a horizon where the colors deepen from bright white to a deep, resonant amber, and finally to a restful black. You are witnessing the light being tucked in by the cosmos, wrapped in layers of velvet darkness, There is no escape needed, only a surrender to the pull of the void. It feels heavy here, grounded and secure, as if the universe is holding on to you tightly, refusing to let you go. It is a reminder that even the most energetic forces eventually succumb to the need for a long, deep, and uninterrupted slumber. Night holds within it every soft color of the rainbow. When it passes through the crystal glass, these hidden hues are released, spreading out like a fan of soft silk. The tension of the beam is relaxed, allowing the red, the indigo, and the violet to stretch out and breathe. It is a slow, graceful unfolding, a silent reveal of the beauty hidden within the ordinary. Picture a room filled with refracted rainbows slowly rotating on the walls. The colors are muted and pastel, washing over the surfaces with a bioluminescent glow. You watch the slow transition from a warm orange to a cooling deep blue, and your breathing aligns with this changing tide. The atmosphere is thick with peace, and the air feels still and suspended. The colors are dissolving into the shadows, leaving a comfortable twilight. It is a gentle reminder that you can let go of your focus and simply allow yourself to drift into the spectrum of dreams. As the light travels away, it stretches into a deep and heavy red slumber. The waves lengthen over the vast distances, becoming slower and more relaxed as they drift across the expanding universe. The energy dissipates, turning from a bright hum into a low, barely audible vibration that resonates with the slow frequency of sleep. It is a process of unwinding, of letting go of the tightness of high energy to settle into a long, lazy wavelength that requires no effort to maintain. The light is tired now, fading into the background of the cosmos. Imagine a sunset that never ends, painting the horizon in deep crimson and burnt orange. The light feels warm and thick, like honey slowly pouring over the landscape. The air is heavy with this red glow, and it wraps around your shoulders like a heated, weighted blanket. You are drifting away from the source, floating deeper into the comfort of the dark where the colors are muted and soft. It is a reminder that distance brings a comforting silence, allowing everything to eventually slow down and fade into a perfect rest. A perfect mirror catches the light and sends it gently back into the room. The beam is not lost but returned, held for a brief, frozen moment in the silver glass before drifting away again. It is a silent conversation between surfaces, a game of gentle passing that requires no effort and makes no sound. The light glides over the smooth plains, frictionless and quiet, moving like ice skating over a frozen lake where the ice is thick and ancient. There is a coldness to this reflection, a tempering of the heat. Picture a vast, still naked twilight, perfectly mirroring the faint glow of the moon above. The water is bioluminescent blue and silver, motionless and deep. You are floating on this surface, feeling the cool support of the water beneath you. The reflection is soft, not blinding, a duplicate world of perfect stillness where the light just rests upon the water without disturbing the calm. It is a gentle reminder that you are supported by the world around you, reflected in a peace that asks for nothing but your presence. Where the light cannot reach, the shadows offer a cool and welcoming refuge. These spaces are not empty but filled with a quiet, velvet density that absorbs all noise and vibration. The light outlines the edges, creating a soft halo, but the center remains dark and undisturbed by the chaotic energy of the day. It is a protective barrier, a subterranean cave of silence where the eyes can finally relax completely and the mind can unspool. Imagine sitting in a comfortable, plush chair in a dimly lit room, watching the shadows lengthen across the floor. They are deep purple and soft charcoal, creeping forward with a slow, patient rhythm. The darkness feels heavy and comforting, a physical weight that settles gently on your eyelids, urging them to close. The contrast is gentle, a lullaby of light and dark rocking you back and forth in a slow, hypnotic cadence. It is a reminder that in the absence of light, there is a profound safety, a quiet space carved out just for your rest. Sunlight filters through the canopy in a slow and shifting dance of green. The intensity of the star is broken into 1,000 tiny fragments, each one soft, harmless, and diffused. The leaves act as a gentle sail, catching the heat and letting only the warmth seep through to the forest floor. The pattern on the ground changes with the wind, a hypnotic mosaic of golden green that drifts aimlessly and without purpose. Picture lying on soft, cool moss beneath a massive, ancient tree with roots that cradle you. The light above is green and golden, dappled and diffusing through the layers of foliage. You feel the gentle warmth on your skin, alternating with the cool shade in a rhythmic, soothing cycle. The air smells of earth and rain, grounding you in this quiet, sheltered place. The light creates a canopy of safety, separating you from the sky. This reminds us that the world softens when it's too harsh, filtering everything until it is just the right temperature for sleep. The stars pulse with a rhythm that spans across the eternal void. Their twinkling is a slow breath of the cosmos, a sign of life in the deep silence of the vacuum. The light is faint, requiring your eyes to adjust, widen, and accept the enveloping darkness. It travels through the cool expanse to land softly on the retina, a kiss from the distant past that carries no heat. It is a lonely but comforting journey, a testament to endurance and patience that has lasted for billions of years. Imagine the night sky as a vast, velvet dome stretching infinitely above you. The points of light are diamond white and dice blue, steady and unmoving. You feel small but infinitely safe, cradled by the vastness of the galaxy. The silence of space is a hum in your ears, a white noise that drowns out all thought. The light is a guide to the land of dreams, watching over you. It is a reminder that even in the vastness of the dark, there is always a soft light watching over your slumber. Deep beneath the ocean waves, the light is made by life itself. Here in the immense depth, the sun never reaches, and a new kind of glow emerges from the creatures of the deep. It is a cold, chemical light, flickering in the absolute blackness like a slow, rhythmic heartbeat. The water is thick and heavy, pressing in from all sides with a comforting pressure that holds the body together and shields it. The light does not travel far, it stays close, a personal lantern in the eternal night. Picture a jellyfish drifting in the subterranean currents, pulsing with a soft, neon blue light. Its movements are languid and fluid, surrendering completely to the flow of the water. You are floating beside it, weightless and dissolved in the deep. The darkness is absolute, save for these gentle pulses of cool color that hypnotize the mind and slow the pulse. It is a gentle reminder that deep within the darkness, there is a quiet, internal light that is enough to guide you to rest. High above the atmosphere, the light dances in curtains of green. The solar wind meets the air in a silent meeting that paints the sky in slow motion. These sheets of light ripple and fold like silk caught in a slow motion breeze, expanding and contracting. There is no sound to the spectacle, only the visual rhythm of brightening and fading, a cosmic breathing. The colors are ethereal, washing over the frozen landscape below with a ghostly grace that feels magical and ancient. Imagine lying in the snow, warm inside heavy furs, looking up at the aurora borealis. The sky is alive with ribbons of emerald and violet swaying slowly across the stars. The air is crisp and cold on your face, but you are wrapped in deep warmth. The movement of the light is hypnotic, a celestial cradle rocking back and forth across the horizon. This reminds us that the most beautiful things in the universe are silent, asking only for us to lie back and watch as we drift away. Light travels through pure glass like water flowing down a quiet stream. It is guided gently around curves and bends, held safely within the transparent walls of the fiber. The beam does not scatter or lose its way. It is held tight by the physics of the material, a resident of clarity. There is a sense of effortless motion here, a frictionless slide that carries the energy forward without a single sound. Picture a bundle of clear cables glowing with a soft, pulsing light in a dark room. The light flows like liquid neon, moving in a steady, hypnotic rhythm that mimics the circulation of blood. You are watching the information drift by, encoded in pulses of brightness that feel warm and rhythmic. The glass is cool and smooth, guiding the light through the void with perfect precision. It is a gentle reminder that there is always a path laid out for you, guiding you safely to your destination. Thick fog turns a Sharpie into a often glowing cloud. The moisture in the air catches the light and holds it suspended, refusing to let it pass quickly. The world loses its hard edges, dissolving into a fuzzy, weightless atmosphere where distance becomes impossible to judge. The light is scattered in every direction, creating a blanket of illumination that wraps around everything it touches. Imagine walking slowly through a dense, cool mist where a street lamp glows above like a floating moon. The light is diffused, a pale white orb that creates a protective circle of visibility around you. The damp air feels cool against your cheeks, and the silence is absolute, muffled by the heavy moisture. You are hidden here, safe within the white embrace of the fog. It is a gentle reminder that you do not need to see clearly to be safe, for the softness of the world is a cushion for your rest. Deep underground, the darkness is broken by a faint living blue. In these subterranean caverns, the sun has never touched the stone, yet light exists in the quiet biology of the earth. Tiny creatures hang from the ceiling, emitting a slow, bioluminescent glow that mimics the night sky. The light is cold and chemically pure, a silent testament to life persisting in the void. Picture yourself lying on the floor of a vast, cool cave, looking up at a ceiling covered in thousands of glowing stars. The air is still and smells of wet stone and ancient earth. The blue light reflects softly on a calm underground lake, doubling the depth of the illusion. You feel grounded by the unimaginable weight of the rock above you, shielded from the surface. It is a reminder that even in the deepest places, there is a gentle light to keep you company in the quiet. The moon reflects the sun's light in a cool and silent deco. This illumination is not original but borrowed, tempered by the gray dust of the lunar surface. It falls upon the earth stripped of its heat, a ghostly silver that transforms the familiar into the mysterious. The world is washed in monochrome, shadows stretching long and black across the landscape. Imagine a snow-covered field at midnight, glowing under the light of a full moon. The crystals of ice sparkle like diamonds, reflecting the silver beams back into the silent sky. The air is crisp and freezing, but you are warm beneath heavy layers, watching the stillness. The light is patient, illuminating the world without waking it up. The rhythm of the night is slow and deep, a pause in the frantic pace of life. It is a gentle reminder that the world rests under a watchful eye, allowing you to sleep in peace. Your eyelids turn the bright world into a warm and amber haze. When the eyes close, the light does not disappear, but is filtered through the thin layer of skin. It becomes personal and internal, a glow that exists only for you. The harsh whiteness is dyed a deep, comforting orange, the color of a setting sun or a dying fire. Picture yourself lying on a beach with your eyes closed, facing the warmth of the sky. You see the shifting patterns of red and gold as clouds drift across the sun, a brighter light show that feels thick and heavy. The warmth penetrates deep into the face, relaxing the small muscles around the eyes. You are safe inside your own body, separated from the visual noise by a delicate shield. It is a reminder that you can close the doors to the outside world whenever you wish and retreat into a warm, internal sanctuary. A shadow is simply a place where the light has stepped aside. It is not an active darkness, but a passive acceptance of shelter, a cool pocket of relief. The light outlines the object, painting a silhouette, while the space behind remains untouched and restful. The temperature drops in the shade, a physical sign of the protection it offers from the intensity of the source. Imagine sitting under the vast canopy of an ancient oak tree on a bright afternoon. The shadow is a dark, cool pool of grass where the light only de-apples the edges. You are hidden in the umbra, watching the bright world from a place of secluded safety. The contrast makes your eyes heavy, the darkness pulling you down into a relaxed state. The rhythm of the leaves shifting creates a dancing pattern of light and dark. It is a gentle reminder that darkness is a gift, a cool respite that allows us to recover from the brightness of the day. Light from a candle flame moves with a flickering and organic rhythm. It is not steady like a machine, but breathes with the air, rising and falling in intensity. The glow is golden and soft, reaching only a few feet before being enveloped by the friendly shadows. It casts a sphere of intimacy, drawing everything closer to the center. Picture a single candle burning in the center of a large, dark room. The flame dances slowly, casting long, wavering shadows that seem to lull the mind into a trance. The light feels ancient, a primitive comfort that has soothed humans for millennia. You watch the wax melt slowly, a physical measurement of the passing time. The smell of smoking beeswax adds to the heavy atmosphere. It is a gentle reminder that a small, quiet light is enough to hold back the dark and keep you safe through the night. The bright star is hidden behind the moon in a moment of perfect cosmic alignment. The intensity of the day is blocked, leaving only a soft, pearlescent crown of light that glows around the dark circle. The temperature drops gently, and a twilight silence falls over the world, hushing the birds in the wind. The light is no longer directed as a ghostly halo, a delicate string of white fire that shimmers without burning. Picture standing in a vast, open field as the sky turns a deep, indigo blue in the middle of the day. The air feels cool and crisp against your skin, a sudden and welcome relief from the heat. You watch the corona of the sun waving slowly like strands of white silk in an ethereal breeze. The darkness is a soft weight that settles over the land, bringing a premature and comforting night. It is a gentle reminder that even the sun must sometimes step back to allow the coolness of the shadow to bring you rest. Light passes through heavy-colored glass and paints the stone floor in silence. The rays are filtered through panels of deep ruby sapphire and emerald, losing their intensity to become pools of liquid color. The light does not just illuminate the room, it colors the air with a heavy, sacred atmosphere that feels thick and ancient. There is a slowness to the way these colored patches move, inching across the cool flagstones as the sun arcs across the sky. Imagine sitting in a vast, quiet hall made of cool gray stone, surrounded by high windows. The light falls upon you in soft, warm patches, painting your hands in shades of violet and rose. You feel the stillness of the stone beneath you and the warmth of the colored light on your skin. The air is dust-mote still, smelling of old wax and peace. It is a gentle reminder that the world can filter out the harshness, leaving only the beautiful and the soft to touch you. A steady beam sweeps across the dark ocean in a slow and rhythmic rotation. The light cuts through the heavy sea mist along a pale arm that reaches out to touch the waves before retreating again. It is a mechanical lullaby, a cycle of brightness followed by a longer, comforting interval of darkness. The beam does not search, it merely exists to mark the edge of the safe harbor, pulsating with a reliable, hypnotic frequency. Picture yourself watching from a distance, wrapped in a heavy wool blanket, listening to the rhythmic crash of the surf. The light sweeps past, illuminating the mist for a brief second, then leaving you in the cozy darkness. You wait for the return, your breathing sissening with the slow revolution of the land. The darkness between the flashes is deep and velvety. It is a reminder that there is a rhythm to all things, and the darkness is simply a pause that allows you to breathe. Ancient sunlight is held forever inside the golden resin of the fossilized tree. Millions of years ago, the light was caught in the sap, and now it is held in a permanent, solid suspension known as amber. It is a warm, honey-colored glow that has not changed since the dawn of time, preserved in perfect stillness. The light here is tangible, something you can hold in the palm of your hand, heavy and smooth. Imagine picking up a piece of polished amber and holding it up to a candle. The stone glows from within, radiating a deep, orange warmth that seems to seep into your skin. It looks like a frozen drop of the sun, cooled and hardened into a soothing jewel. The light inside is patient, waiting for eons without ever fading. It feels grounding to hold such timelessness. It is a gentle reminder that some moments of warmth are preserved forever, kept safe and waiting for you to find them. As you sink deeper, the light fades from bright blue to a heavy indigo. The surface is left far behind, and the influence of the sun begins to wane, unable to penetrate the density of the deep water. The colors are stripped away one by one. Red, orange, and yellow dissolve, leaving only the soothing, cool tones at the bottom of the spectrum. It is a gradual, seamless transition into the arms of the deep, where the water presses against you with a comforting embrace. Picture yourself slowly descending through the layers of the ocean, weightless and free. The blue around you deepens into a rich violet, and finally into a soft, velvet black. There is no fear here, only a sense of being swaddled in the quiet dark. The silence is absolute, ringing softly in your ears like a seashell. It is a reminder that you can let go of the surface and drift down into the peaceful, lightless depths of sleep. A thin paper shell turns the flame into a soft and glowing moon. The intensity of the fire is diffused by the delicate fibers, spreading the light out into a warm, uniform sphere. It creates a lantern that does not glare but rather glows with a gentle, inviting hum. The light is fragile and intimate, barely reaching the corners of the room, creating a small island of visibility in a sea of shadow. Imagine a string of paper lanterns swaying gently in a night breeze, suspended under the branches of a willow tree. The light is a soft cream and apricot color, pulsing slightly as the candles flicker inside. You are lying on the grass below, watching the orbs dance against the dark sky. The movement is lazy and unhurried. The soft light makes your eyelids feel heavy and relaxed. It is a gentle reminder that you are safe within your own circle of warmth, protected from the vastness of the night. A river of stars flows silently across the dome of the velvet night sky. This is the collective glow of billions of distant suns, their individual fires merged into a single milky band of luminescence. The light is so faint it looks like a dusting of diamond powder, a cosmic cloud that has been frozen in place. It does not twinkle like a single star but glows with a steady, ethereal presence that spans the horizon. Picture yourself flying on a high plateau where the air is thin and the silence is profound. Above you, the Milky Way stretches like a bridge of soft light dividing the darkness. The light feels cold and clean, washing over you with a sense of infinite space. You feel small, but held by the gravity of the galaxy, anchored to the earth while you gaze at the infinite. It is a gentle reminder that you are part of a vast, silent rhythm that turns slowly while you rest. The afternoon sun moves across the floor without a sound. It inches forward on the wooden planks, a slow tide of warmth that marks the silent passage of hours. The light captures the absolute stillness of the room, turning the air into a thick, golden syrup that slows down time itself. There is no rush in this motion, only a lazy, heavy drift that encourages the eyelids to droop under the weight of the day. The heat is absorbed by the furniture, radiating a subtle, invisible comfort that fills the space. Picture a room where the curtains are drawn but heavy with the glow of the sun pressing from behind. The light filtering through is amber and deep orange, filling the space with a hazy, suspended dust. You are lying in the center of this warmth, feeling the heavy, comfortable heat pressing against your skin. The dust motes dance in the slow currents, rising and falling in a silent waltz. It is a gentle reminder that the day is pausing just for you, creating a warm and golden space for your rest. Moonlight falls upon the white snow in a silent blanket. The landscape is smoothed over by the glowing powder, hiding all the sharp edges of the world under a layer of soft, cold light. The reflection is not harsh but pearlescent, a milky luminescence that cools the eyes and quiets the mind. The light travels through the crisp air, touched by heat, preserving the absolute stillness of the frozen night. It feels as though the world has been dipped in silver, sealed beneath a protective glaze of ice. Imagine looking out over a valley covered in deep, fresh snow under a bright full moon. The world is painted in shades of silver, charcoal, and pale blue. You are wrapped in thick furs, completely warm and safe, watching the cold light glisten on on the ice crystals. The silence is profound, muffled by the depth of the snow, creating a vacuum of peace. It is a reminder that the world can be perfectly still, waiting patiently while you sink into a deep sleep. The sun fades quickly as it sinks into the ocean. The bright surface is left behind, and the light is stripped of its energetic heat, turning from gold to a heavy, calming blue. The water absorbs the urgency, slowing the vibrations down until they match the slow, rolling rhythm of the deep currents. It is a world of shadow and soft gradients, where the light is merely a memory of the surface, filtered through fathoms of liquid weight. Picture yourself drifting downward through the water, watching the blue above you deepen into a rich indigo. The light comes in shafts that dissolve into the darkness, like cathedral pillars made of mist. The water presses gently against your skin, a cool and weightless embrace that supports every limb. You are floating in the twilight zone of the sea, where the silence is thick and the light is faint. It is a gentle reminder that there are places of deep quiet where the noise of the day simply cannot reach you. In the deep earth, light is born from the rock. Far from the sky, the darkness is broken by the faint, chemical glow of ancient minerals that have slumbered for eons. This light does not burn, it hums with a cold, geological patience, illuminating the stillness of the subterranean world. The caverns are filled with this ghostly illumination, a soft pulse that mimics the beating of a slow, resting heart. The shadows here are not scary, they are soft and velvety, holding the light in a comfortable balance. Imagine a vast underground grotto where the walls are studded with glowing blue crystals. The light is dim and steady, reflecting off a glassy, motionless pool of water at the center. You are resting on the smooth stone shore, bathed in this subterranean twilight. The air is cool and still, smelling of wet rock and purity. It is a reminder that even in the deepest shadows, there is a soft and guiding light to watch over your slumber. The light of the stars travels alone for eons. It crosses the infinite black void without ever touching a solid objective till it finally rests upon your eyes. The beam is weary and stretched thin, a delicate thread of silver connecting you to the distant past. It carries with it the silence of the vacuum, a profound lack of sound that wraps around the earth at night like a cooling mist. There is no heat left in this light, only a clean, diamond-hard clarity. Picture lying on your back in an open field, looking up at the Milky Way. The stars are tiny pinpricks of coal-white fire, steady and unblinking. The darkness between them is vast and velvet off. You feel the rotation of the earth, a slow and rocking motion that lulls you into a trance. The starlight is a gentle wash of cold peace that clears the mind. It is a gentle reminder that you are small and safe, held in the cradle of a vast and peaceful universe. Sunlight becomes a warm red haze behind closed eyes. The brightness is filtered by the thin layer of skin, turning the harsh white glare into a comforting, fiery glow. This light is internal, a private sunset that exists only for you, shielding you from the outside world. The heat travels through the eyelids, relaxing the tiny muscles and dissolving the tension in the face. It is a thick, syrupy light that feels heavy and soothing, like being submerged in warm water. Imagine lying on a beach with the sun warming your face, your eyes gently closed. The world is reduced to a warm, lowering spectrum that shifts slowly like magma. You feel the heat sinking into your bones, weighting you down into the sand. The sound of the ocean is a distant, rhythmic hush. The light is not something you see, but something you feel. It is a reminder that you can always retreat inside, where the light is warm and the world is soft. A distant light pulses with a slow and steady rhythm. It cuts through the fog, a periodic comfort that marks the passage of time without demanding any attention. The beam sweeps across the horizon, the silent guardian that watches over the sleeping world with mechanical patience. The intervals of darkness are long and heavy, allowing the eyes to rest fully before the soft, predictable return of the glow. It is a cycle of safety, a heartbeat of illumination in the gray mist. Picture a lighthouse standing on a distant rocky cliff, shrouded in a cool gray mist. You are watching from a warm room, safe behind glass. The light revolves slowly, casting a faint, sweeping illumination that touches the fog and then vanishes. The rhythm is hypnotic: flash, darkness, darkness, flash. It matches the slow, deep cadence of your breathing. It is a gentle reminder that there is a constant, steady presence watching over you, allowing you to let go and sleep. The light presses against the woven fabric and softens into a heavy glow. It is held back by the density of the thread, turning the harsh outside world into a muted, amber presence that fills the room. The energy is absorbed by the cloth, stripping away the glare and leaving only a warm, diffuse weight that hangs in the air like a comfortable silence. There is no movement here, only the steady, unmoving pressure of the sun trying to enter a place of rest. Picture a room with thick, heavy curtains drawn tight against the afternoon. The light filters through the edges in soft, fuzzy lines of gold, illuminating the dust motes that float in the stillness. You are buried under the covers, watching this barrier of fabric protect you from the day. The room is dim and warm, a sanctuary of shadows where the light is tamed. It is a gentle reminder that you can close the world out, keeping only the warmth and leaving the noise behind. Light wanders through the clouds of space and slowly loses its way. It is scattered by the vast drifts of cosmic dust, spreading out into a soft, glowing mist that covers the emptiness. The beam is no longer straight and purposeful, but diffuses into a gentle, ambient radiance that has no beginning and no end. The colors shift from stark white to deep violets and soft pinks, painting the void in the hues of a twilight or a sunset. Picture yourself floating in the center of a vast, silent nebula. The gas is cool and ethereal, glowing with a faint, internal light that touches your skin without heat. You are suspended in this cloud of color, weightless and free from gravity. The light wraps around you like a thick fog, hiding you from the rest of the universe. It is a gentle reminder that there is no need to have a destination, for drifting in the soft light is a perfect form of rest. 8,000 tiny lights cling to the ceiling of the quiet cave. In the absolute darkness of the earth, the light is small, biological, and incredibly patient. It does not travel far, reaching only inches before being enveloped by the cool, damp air of the cavern. Each point of illumination is a silent beat of life, a cold blue star in a subterranean sky that never changes. The stone absorbs the silence, creating a heavy, protective atmosphere. Imagine drifting on a small boat across a black underground lake. The water is motionless, a mirror for the galaxy of living lights above you. The air is cool and smells of wet stone and purity. You lean back and watch the constellations of blue-green light pulse slowly in the dark. The silence is so deep you can hear your own heart slowing down. It is a gentle reminder that even in the deepest dark, there is a soft and guiding light to watch over your slumber. The white beam is taken apart and spread into a soft fan. Upon entering the crystal, the light is forced to slow down and reveal its hidden nature, expanding into bands of pure, translucent color. The tension of the single ray is released, allowing the red, blue, and green to stretch out across the room in a lazy, distorted arc. It is a silent unraveling, a gentle separation that requires no effort. Picture a faceted crystal hanging in a sun-filled window, slowly rotating on a string. The rainbows glide across the walls and the floor like ghosts, washing over the furniture in slow motion. The colors are pale and watery, softening the edges of the room. You watch a patch of violet light drift across your hand, feeling the visual warmth of the color. The movement is hypnotic and cyclical. It is a gentle reminder that you can let go of your focus and simply allow yourself to unfold into a state of rest. The horizon holds the last breath of light before the night falls. The energy of the sun is sinking below the edge of the world, leaving behind a deep, resonant indigo that signals the time for sleep. The light is no longer active, it is a memory, a lingering glow that softens the transition into darkness. The shadows stretch out until they touch everything, cooling the earth and quieting the wind. Picture standing on a hill as the blue arc settles over the landscape. The sky is a gradient of deep navy and charcoal, and the trees are becoming silhouettes against the fading glow. The air turns cool and crisp, brushing against your face with a calming touch. The world is turning inward, preparing for the long silence of the night. You feel your body heading with the rhythm of the setting sun. It is a gentle reminder that everything eventually fades into a peaceful, dark embrace. The water creates a perfect double of the moon in the silence. The light hits the surface of the lake and stops, resting on the tension of the water without sinking. It is a flawless, silver echo of the sky held in place by the absolute stillness of the night. There is no wind to break the image, only a glass-like perfection that merges the air and the water into one seamless cool dive. Picture sitting on the edge of a dock, your feet dangling above the black water. The reflection of the moon is a pillar of white light stretching towards you, solid and unloving. The air is damp and heavy, carrying the scent of pine and water. You feel the profound peace of the world that has stopped moving. The light is cool and serene. It is a gentle reminder that when the waters of the mind are still, the light can rest perfectly upon the surface. The stone remembers the light long after the sun has gone. The heat has soaked deep into the dense grain of the rock, stored within the heavy mineral structure as a reservoir of comfort. Even as the air turns cool and the shadows lengthen, the ground radiates a gentle, invisible warmth that rises up to meet the skin. It is a silent release of energy, a slow exhale of the day's brightness into the coming night. Picture lying on a large, flat granite rock in the middle of a quiet forest at dusk. The stone is hard and solid beneath you, but warm against your back, cradling you in its stored heat. The air above is cooling, creating a perfect balance of temperature. You feel grounded and heavy, supported by the ancient earth. It is a gentle reminder that the warmth you need is already stored within, keeping you safe through the cooling night. The dust of the universe settles softly on the shells of time. In this place of stillness, the light does not rush but rests heavily upon the surfaces, like a fine layer of ancient gold. The air is thick with silence, preserving the illumination in a state of suspended animation where nothing is ever disturbed. It feels as though the light has become solid, a physical weight that presses down gently, sealing the quiet into the room. Picture an endless library of towering wooden shelves where the air smells of old paper and peace. The light filters in through high, dusty windows, creating solid beams that cut through the shadows. You watch the dust motes swirl in these columns of warmth, moving with a lazy, hypnotic slowness. The atmosphere is grounded and heavy, urging you to lean back and close your eyes. It is a gentle reminder that knowledge and light eventually find a place to stop and rest in the quiet. The planet reflects a soft and ghostly light back to the moon. This is the Earth's shine, a dim and secondary glow that travels silently across the emptiness of space to cradle the dark side of the satellite. It is a light stripped of its fire, cooled by the journey and softened by the clouds and oceans from which it bounced. The illumination is faint, an ashen gray and soft blue that whispers rather than shouts. Imagine floating in the silence of space, looking down at the crescent moon. The dark portion is not black, but glowing with this gentle, reflected earth light. You feel the profound lack of gravity, a weightlessness that untethers you from all worry. The light is a comforting echo, a signal that you are not alone in the void. It is a gentle reminder that even in the deepest shadow, there is a reflected warmth keeping watch over you. Light moves through the thick liquid like a slow and golden river. It enters the amber substance and is immediately embraced by the viscosity forced to match the languid base of the fluid. The beam loses its sharp edges, diffusing into a warm internal glow that radiates outward with a syrupy slowness. There is a sense of richness here, a heavy, sweet density that traps the light and holds it safe within the glass walls. Picture a jar of golden honey sitting on a windowsill in the late afternoon. The sun strikes it, and the jar lights up from the inside, glowing like a contained ember. You watch the bubbles, suspended in the gold, frozen in time. The light feels thick and warm, a visual representation of comfort and slow time. It is a reminder that there is sweetness in slowing down and letting the moment thicken and hold you. The final moment of the day is a pulse of emerald green. As the sun dips below the perfectly flat horizon, the atmosphere bends the last ray of light, turning the gold into a fleeting, deep green jewel. It is a silent signal of the transition from the heat of the day to the cooling rest of the night. The flash is soft and instantaneous, a blink of the cosmos that ushers in the twilight. Imagine sitting on a quiet, deserted beach, watching the vast ocean turn dark. The rhythmic sound of the waves is a slow, heavy percussion. You see the sun vanish, leaving that single, soothing drop of green light on the water's edge before the blue arc takes over. The air instantly feels cooler, wrapping around you like a fresh sheet. It is a gentle reminder that the end of the day is a natural, beautiful release into the comfort of the dark. The desert holds the moonlight in a silver silence. The heat of the day has evaporated into the clear, thin air, leaving the dunes cool and still under the gaze of the stars. The light reflects off the quartz grains, turning the landscape into a vast, undulating ocean of pale blue and white. It is a clean, sharp light that reveals the smooth curves of the wind blows, and without creating any heat. Picture yourself lying on the crest of a soft, cool dune, looking out over the endless waves of sand. The moon is bright and high, casting deep, sharp shadows that offer pockets of absolute darkness. The silence is total, a vacuum of sound that calms the nervous system. The sand is cool beneath your back, molding to your shape. It is a reminder that the world is vast and empty, offering you endless space to breathe and rest. Wooden shutters divide the afternoon sun into heavy bars of gold. The light pushes through the slats, landing on the floor in a rhythmic pattern of bright and dark stripes. It creates a visual quietness, a structured order that divides the room into segments of warmth and shadow. The dust dances only in the lit sections, while the shadowed bars remain cool and empty. The movement of the sun is so slow it is imperceptible, yet the angle of the stripes shifts lazily across the rug over the hours. Imagine lying on a soft carpet in a quiet room, watching these bars of light stretch across the floor. You dip your hand into a strip of sun and feel the gentle heat, then pull it back into the cool shadow. The contrast is hypnotic, the slow pendulum of temperature. It is a gentle reminder that life is a balance of activity and rest, and you are currently in the shade. The waves break in a wash of neon blue fire. In the warm waters of the lagoon, the bioluminescence is triggered by the movement of the tide, turning the mechanical energy of the wave into a cold, living light. It is a soft, ethereal blue that outlines the foam, creating a glowing path along the shore. The light is fleeting, appearing only when the water is disturbed, then fading back into the black depth of the ocean. Picture walking along the water's edge on a warm, dark night. Every time the tiny waves lap against the sand, they sparkle with this magical blue glitter. Your footprints glow for a moment before fading. The sound of the water is a gentle hush, 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 hush. The darkness is friendly, illuminated by these tiny, biological stars. It is a gentle reminder that even in the movement of the night, there is a soft light to guide your way to sleep. A tiny opening turns the bright world into a soft and silent painting. Through the smallest pinhole, the light flows into the dark room and projects an inverted image of the outside onto the far wall. The sea is dim and dreamlike, stripped of its sharpness and reduced to a wash of moving colors that look like a watercolor coming to life. There is no sound of this movie, only the shifting shapes of trees and clouds drifting across the plaster. Picture sitting in a completely darkened room, watching the upside-down world glide slowly across the ceiling. The light is faint, requiring your eyes to relax and widen to see it. The movements are blurred and lazy, filtered by the tiny aperture. The atmosphere is heavy with secrecy and calm, a private theater of shadows. It is a gentle reminder that the world continues its slow rhythm outside, allowing you to remain hidden and restful within. Gravity pulls the light into a soft and eternal curve. Near the heaviest objects in the universe, the beam does not travel straight but bows in a gesture of surrender to the mass. It is a slow, graceful bending where the photon is hugged tight by the invisible weight of the dark star. The light is not trapped, it is simply guided into a comfortable orbit, circling endlessly in a ring of quiet illumination. Imagine a black horizon where the light forms a perfect, glowing halo, unable to break away from the embrace. The pull feels heavy and secure, like a deep gravity blanket that keeps everything grounded. You are watching this slow dance from a place of weightlessness, feeling the comforting tug of the void. The light surrenders its speed to the strength of the pull. It is a reminder that you do not need to resist the gravity of sleep, but can simply lean into it and let go. The morning gives a physical shape to the sunlight. As the sun rises over the damp earth, the rays cut through the heavy moisture, creating solid pillars of white gold that stand between the trees. The light is no longer just a surface illumination, but a three-dimensional architecture that you can walk through. It hangs in the air, suspended by the millions of tiny water droplets that drift in the silence. Picture walking through a forest at dawn where the air is cool and smells of wet pine. The sunbeams angle down through the canopy like a grand, silent staircase. You move through a shaft of light and feel a momentary, gentle warmth before stepping back into the cool shade. And mist softens every sound, creating a padded white room of the world. It is a gentle reminder that the air itself is thick enough to hold you and support your rest. The fire fades and leaves the light trapped in the gray ash. The bright, dancing flames have settled, leaving behind a bed of coals that live inside the charcoal. The light is breathing out, glowing brighter with a draft of air and then dimming into a sleepy gray. It is a heat that is heavy and focused, radiating a consistent warmth that penetrates deep into the room. Picture sitting before a hearth where the fire has burned down to its embers. The glow is subterranean, hidden beneath a layer of soft white ash that looks like snow. You watch the slow pulse of the red light, a rhythm that mimics the drowsiness of the night. The heat is thick and comforting, pressing against your shins. It is a reminder that fading out is a natural, warm, and comfortable part of the cycle of rest. The shadow of the earth rises to meet the sky. As the sun disappears completely, a band of deep pink and violet appears on the opposite horizon, a phenomenon known as the belt of Venus. It is the visible edge of the night, a soft curtain of darkness being pulled up from the ground to cover the atmosphere. The colors are pastel and khaki, blending seamlessly into the deepening blue above. Imagine standing in a vast open plain, turning your back to the sunset to watch the night rise. The pink band is soft and heavy, pushing the blue sky upward until it dissolves into black. The air grows still and the birds go quiet. You feel the rotation of the planet, a slow and steady tilting away from the light. It is a gentle reminder that the darkness is a protective cover, rising gently to wrap you in a blanket of sleep. Behind closed eyes, the darkness is filled with shifting clouds of color. This internal light does not come from the sun, but from the quiet hum of your own nervous system. It forms soft, geometric waves of indigo, violet, and faint neon green that float across your vision like oil on water. The patterns are slow and hypnotic, morphing effortlessly from one shape to another without ever resolving. Picture lying in total darkness, watching this private display of bioluminescence on the back of your eyelids. The colors are dim and soothing, swirling in a lazy vortex that draws your focus inward. There is no strain here, only a passive observation of the flow. The light is fluid and weightless, dissolving the boundary between you and the sleep you are entering. It is a gentle reminder that you carry your own soft light within you, a constant companion in the dark. Day star fades, but its light continues to travel for eternity. The source may be faded, gone cold and dark, but the photons it released eons ago are still gliding through the vacuum. It is a ghost of light, a memory made of energy that refuses to fade. The beam travels through the silent dust of the galaxy, carrying the image of the star across the infinite distance. Imagine looking up at a star that looks perfectly bright and steady, knowing it is a messenger from the deep past. The light is cool and ancient, landing softly on your face after a journey of 1,000,000 years. It feels permanent and reliable, unaffected by the passage of time. You are connecting with the eternal, resting under a sky that holds the history of the universe. It is a reminder that nothing is ever truly lost, and that you are watched over by the gentle, enduring light of the past. The water weaves the sunlight into a moving net of gold. On the floor of the clear pool, the light does not land in a solid block, but is spun into a mesmerizing, shifting web of brightness. The lines of the net expand in contrast with the slow breathing of the water, creating a hypnotic rhythm that requires no effort to watch. The light here is magnified and then softened, dancing over the smooth tiles in a silent ballet. Picture yourself floating face down in the warm, buoyant water, watching the bottom of the pool. The lines of light crawl slowly over the blue surface, overlapping and separating in a lazy, eternal loop. The water supports your weight entirely, and the visual pattern soothes the mind with its predictable, fluid motion. It is a world of soft distortion, where the hard edges of reality are bent into gentle curves. It is a gentle reminder that you can let your thoughts dissolve into the slow, rhythmic flow of the moment. A single drop of dew holds the whole morning sky. Suspended on a thin, invisible thread of a spitter bear, the water acts as a perfect, tiny lens that captures the dawn. The light enters the sphere and is turned upside down, a miniature world of blue and gray contained within a fragile pearl. The illumination is cool and wet, waiting patiently for the sun to rise fully. Imagine crouching low in a garden where the air is thick with mist and silence. You look closely at the droplet, seeing the reflection of the trees and the gray sky perfectly preserved in the water. It sparkles with a cold, diamond clarity, untouched by the heat of the day. The world inside the drop is still and silent, a private pocket of peace that exists only for a moment. It is a gentle reminder that the entire world can be condensed into a small, manageable point of beauty where you can rest. Soft black fabric drinks the light and offers only silence. When the beam hits the deep pile of the velvet, it does not bounce back or create a glare. Instead, it is absorbed completely into the texture. The light is invited and unasked to stay, sinking deep into the fibers where it is hugged by the darkness. There is a sense of profound softness here, a visual silence that calms the eyes instantly. Picture a room draped in heavy, midnight blue velvet curtains that pool on the floor. The light touches the folds, creating soft ridges of dim illumination while the valleys remain in deep shadow. You run your hand over the cloth, feeling the friction in the warmth where the light has been trapped. The darkness is not empty, it is thick and cushioned, the physical barrier against the noise of the outside. It is a gentle reminder that you can be enveloped in a softness that absorbs all worry and leaves only peace. The mist creates a spirit of a rainbow in the night. Under the light of the full moon, the water vapor in the air bends the silver beams into a pale, colorless cirque known as a moonbow. It is a phenomenon of the quiet hours, stripped of the vibrant reds and yellows of the day, leaving only a spectral white curve against the dark stars. The light is faint and shy, appearing only when the world is perfectly still and the sky is clear. Imagine standing near a waterfall at midnight where the spray rises into the cold air. You see the faint, pearlescent arch stretching across the black sky, a bridge made of silence and mist. The air is damp and cool on your face, grounding you in the moment. The light is ethereal, a whisper of illumination that requires deep darkness to be seen. It is a reminder that even in the darkest nights, there is a subtle and beautiful light waiting to be found. Distance turns the chaotic city into a silent grid of embers. From high above, the frantic energy of the millions of lights is reduced to a soft, glowing carpet of orange and white. The atmosphere between the ground and the sky acts as a thick filter, blurring the individual points until they merge into a warm, biological pulse. There is no sound at this height, only the vast, detached observation of the glowing world below. Picture looking out the window of a plane at night, watching the sleeping cities drift by like constellations on the earth. The lights look like cooling lava, steady and slow. You feel a profound sense of separation, floating safely above the world in a quiet, dark cabin. The view is hypnotic, a sprawling map of light that demands nothing from you. It is a gentle reminder that you can rise above the noise and view the world from a place of silent, detached safety. The thin film spins the light into a swirling oil painting. On the surface of a floating soap bubble, the light is separated into shifting bands of magenta, cyan, and gold that flow like liquid silk. The colors do not stay still, they migrate slowly across the sphere, driven by the invisible currents of the air. It is a silent, iridescent display of physics, where the light clings to the fragile surface in a delicate, beautiful embrace. Picture a single bubble floating through a dimly lit room, catching the reflection of a window. The colors swirl and mix in a slow, oily dance that looks like a moving planet. You watch it drift aimlessly, carried by the breath of the room, light as air. The silence is absolute as the colors glide over the transparent skin. It is a gentle reminder that you can let yourself float, weightless and colorful, carried by the gentle currents of sleep. Silver crystals capture the moment and hold it in stillness. In the old process of photography, the light strikes the film and is preserved forever by the chemistry of the silver. The energy is converted into a static memory, freezing the shadows and the highlights in a permanent pause. The light here does not change or fade, it is held in a sepia tone suspension, softer and jarring nearer than the real world. Picture holding an old, faded photograph in your hands under a soft lamp. The image is blurred and warm, the stark whites turn to cream and the blacks turn to soft charcoal. You are looking at a moment of light that happened decades ago, preserved in perfect silence. The texture of the paper feels rough and real. The light within the image is calm, a testament to a time that has stopped moving. It is a reminder that you can pause the world, capturing a moment of quiet to hold on to while you rest. Green light passes through the living vein of a leaf. The intense energy of the sun is caught by the canopy and filtered down into a soft, translucent emerald glow that paints the forest floor. The light does not just pass through, it is diffused by the cellular water, stripped of its intense heat, and transformed into a cool, nourishing radiance. There is a sense of biological patience here, a slow conversion of power into peace. Picture yourself lying beneath a massive, ancient oak tree, looking up at the sky through a single, overlapping layer of foliage. The sun is a mosaic of jade and lime, tracing the intricate map of veins that run like rivers through the leaf. The light on your face is cool and dappled, shifting gently as the wind stirs the branches. The air smells of chlorophyll and damp earth, grounding you in the shade. It is a gentle reminder that the world has natural filters to soften what is too harsh, leaving only the gentle warmth to touch you. A ripple of light expands silently across the cosmic dust. This is a light echo, a visual reverberation of a pulse that happened centuries ago, now traveling outward in perfect, concentric rings. The beam illuminates the dark clouds of gas as it passes, revealing the hidden structures of the void for a brief, glorious moment before returning them to the shadows. It is a slow-motion wave, a silent expansion that marks the passage of time on a galactic scale. Imagine floating in the deep silence of space, watching a ring of pale blue light widen across a canvas of black velvet. The movement is graceful and unhurried, a cosmic breath howling into the emptiness. You feel small and weightless, watching the history of the stars play out in a loop of silent beauty. The dust clouds go softly as the wave washes over them. It is a reminder that the past spreads out gently, becoming softer and fainter until it eventually fades into a perfect peace. A focused beam passes through the dusty air of the silent theater. The projector hums with a low, rhythmic vibration, pushing the light through the lens and into the dark volume of the room. The beam is a solid cone of white luminescence, defined clearly by the millions of tiny particles floating in the stillness. They swirl and dance within the boundaries of the light, trapped in a private, chaotic ballet that never touches the floor. Picture sitting in a plush velvet seat in an empty, darkened hall. You are not watching the screen, but the beam itself, a highway of light tearing images through the dark. The air is cool and conditioned, smelling of old velvet and dust. The flickering of the film creates a hypnotic strobing effect, a rhythmic pulsing that lulls the eyes into heaviness. It is a gentle reminder that you can simply watch the light pass by without needing to understand the story it tells. Smoke turns the straight beam into a winding gray river. As the light strikes the rising plume of incense, it reveals the complex, fluid dynamics of the air that are usually invisible. The white ray captures the smoke, turning it into a ribbon of blue and silver that curls and folds upon itself in endless, silent patterns. The movement is liquid and slow, rising lazily towards the ceiling before dissolving into the shadows. There's no urgency in this ascent, only a drifting, aimless path. Picture a quiet room in the late afternoon where a single stick of sandalwood burns on a table. The sun creates a shaft of light across the room, and the smoke dances within it, glowing like a tangible spirit. The sun is heavy and grounding, filling the space with a calm presence. You watch the gray swirls and angle and vanish. It is a gentle reminder that your thoughts can rift like smoke, dissolving harmlessly into the quiet light. Clear strands guide the light to 100 tiny points. In the fiber optic lamp, the illumination is carried effortlessly through flexible glass threads, curving and bending without losing a single photon. The light emerges only at the very tips, creating a spray of tiny, pinprick stars that sway with the slightest movement of the air. The base is dark, making the points of light appear to float, supported in the blackness. It is a bouquet of cold, artificial bioluminescence, steady and soothing. Picture the lamp sitting on a bedside table in a pitch-black room. The tips slowly transition from a deep, sleep-inducing indigo to a soft, fading magenta. The movement of the colors is imperceptible, a slow bleed of hue that matches the heavy rhythm of deep sleep. You reach out and touch the strands, feeling the cool, smooth plastic. It is a gentle reminder that even in the dark, there are many small, guiding lights to keep you company. Ice crystals in the high air create echoes of the sun. On the coldest days, the light is refracted through millions of hexagonal diamonds floating in the atmosphere, creating bright spots on either side of the star. These are sundogs, loyal guardians of light that stand silently on the horizon, mimicking the brilliance of the source. The light is pale and wintry, washed out into soft pastels of white and faint rainbow edges. It feels distinct and distant, a phenomenon of pure optics and cold air. Imagine standing on a snowy plain wrapped in heavy wool, looking at the low winter sun. The air is freezing and still, perfectly clear. You see the three lights aligned in the sky, a symmetrical embrace of the world. The silence of the snow is absolute. The light is not burning, but glowing with a frosty preservation of stillness. It is a reminder that you are flanked by protection, watched over by the gentle optics of the sky. A small amber bulb holds back the weight of the dark. In the long, quiet hallway of the sleeping house, the nightlight plugs into the wall, casting a low, warm circle of illumination. It does not try to light the whole space, it is content to create a small anchor of visibility near the floor. The light is orange and dim, similar to the fading embers of a fire, signaling to the brain that it is time to rest. It hums with a frequency so low it can be felt rather than heard, a tiny vibration of safety. Picture looking down the corridor from your open door, seeing that single, steady point of gold. The shadows loom large above it but do not cross the boundary it creates. The house is silent, settling into its wooden bones for the night. You are safe in your bed, knowing the path is lit. It is a gentle reminder that a tiny amount of light is all you need to navigate the darkness safely. Light enters the dense stone and is folded into a silent loop. Inside the diamond, the beam is reflected internally, bouncing off the walls in a perfect, geometric dance that never touches the outside world. The light is held in a crystal sanctuary of clarity, turning into a cold, hard fire that burns without heat. It creates a labyrinth of brilliance where the energy circles endlessly, held tight by the atomic structure of the gem. Picture a rough diamond sitting in the dark earth, glowing faintly with trapped light from the surface. The stone is heavy and cool in your hand, a solid anchor of condensed time. You look deep into the facets and see the light wandering slowly, unable to escape the density. The silence inside the stone is absolute. It is a gentle reminder that you can hold your energy inside, keeping it safe and contained within a quiet core. Thick ice turns the sun into a heavy and deep blue shadow. Under the massive weight of the polar sheet, the light struggles to penetrate, losing all its warmth and intensity in the frozen layers. It is pressed by the density of the water, transformed into a subterranean gloom that is ancient and still. The blue is not the color of the sky, but the color of deep, compressed time, preserved for millennia. Imagine digging a cave deep into a glacier where the walls are made of solid, glowing sapphire. The air is freezing and pure, stinging your lungs with its cleanliness. The light filters through the roof like a heavy liquid, surrounding you in a cool, protective dimness. You run your gloved hand over the smooth, glass-like wall. It is a reminder that the world can create a heavy, frozen shelter where you are perfectly hidden from the heat. The shadow of the earth moves endlessly across the silent surface. From the vantage point of the stars, the line between day and night is a soft, blurring band of twilight that sweeps over the continents. It is a slow, global shudder that closes the eyes of the world, bringing the coolness of the dark to the land. The transition is gentle, a gradual fading of color into the grays and blacks of sleep. Picture floating high above the planet, watching the Terminator line move beneath you. The cities flicker out as the shadow covers them, replaced by the quiet dark. The movement is steady and unstoppable, a cosmic clock that sets the rhythm for all life. You feel detached and safe, watching the night wrap the world in a blanket. It is a gentle reminder that rest is an inevitable force coming slowly and surely to cover you. Antique glass thickens the light and turns the view into liquid. The imperfections in the old pane catch the sun and drag it slowly through the ripples, distorting the world outside into a wavy, dreamlike painting. The light does not travel straight, it meanders through the uneven thickness, pooling in the heavy bottom of the glass. It creates a sense of separation, turning the sharp reality of the garden into a soft, blurry impression. Imagine sitting in a dusty attic room, looking through a window that has settled over 100 years. The trees outside look like flowing green water, swaying in a rhythm that feels slower than real life. The light hitting the floor is uneven and watery. The air smells of dry wooden stillness. It is a gentle reminder that you do not need to see clearly to be at peace. The blur is a soft place to rest. Decaying wood holds a pale green light in the damp forest. On the floor of the ancient woods, the darkness is broken by the faint, chemical glow of foxfire. It is a cold light born from the slow breakdown of matter, a biological signal of return to the earth. The glow is ghostly and dim, clinging to the wet bark and the moss in patches of silent luminescence. Picture walking on soft, wet pine needles in the pitch black, guided only by these patches of neon green. The air is humid and cool, filled with the scent of rain and soil. The light does not illuminate the path, but marks the resting places of the trees. It is a quiet, subterranean energy that requires moisture and darkness to thrive. It is a gentle reminder that even in the process of letting go, there is a soft and beautiful light. Gravity pulls the beam into a soft and eternal spiral down. At the edge of the great void, the light loses its ability to run straight and surrenders to the pull of the darkness. It bends gracefully, curving inward towards the center of the silence, stretching out into a long, red wavelength as it falls. There is no force in this capture, only a gentle yielding to a power greater than itself. Imagine standing at the event horizon, where the light swirls around a core of absolute black. The motion is slow and fluid, like water draining from a basin. You feel the heavy, comforting tug of the gravity anchoring you to the spot. The light fades as it circles, growing dimmer and more tired until it vanishes into the peace of the depth. It is a reminder that you can stop resisting and simply let yourself be pulled into the deep gravity of sleep. Time slowly washes the color from the wall in a gentle fade. The sunlight that falls upon the fresco day after day acts as a slow eraser, softening the pigments until they are merely whispers of their former selves. The sharp reds turn to dusty pinks and the deep blues fade into soft, cloudy grays. It is a process of softening where the hard edges of the image are blended back into the plaster. Picture standing in an ancient, ruined villa where the roof is open to the sky. The paintings on the walls are faint and ghostly, bathed in the quiet afternoon sun. The colors are muted and pastel, soothing to the eye. The atmosphere is still filled with the dust of centuries. You feel the peace of a place that has finished its work. It is a gentle reminder that everything eventually softens and fades, leaving behind a quiet and restful blankness. The glass blurs the world into a soft and white mystery. Through the frosted pane, the sharp details of the outside are erased, leaving only a milky, translucent glow that holds no specific shape. The light presses against the texture of the glass, diffusing into a gentle, uniform brightness that fills the room without casting a shadow. It is a protective haze, a barrier that allows the illumination to enter while keeping the activity of the world at bay. Picture standing in a warm, steamy room where the window is frosted over. The sun outside is reduced to a pale, glowing orb that pulses softly through the mist. The air is thick and humid, softening your skin into breath. You run a finger down the condensation, tracing a path through the light. The silence here is muffled and dense. It is a gentle reminder that you do not need to see the details of the world to feel its work. A single circle of sky reflects in the deep water. Far below the surface of the earth, at the bottom of the ancient stone well, the light arrives as a focused, solitary beam. It travels down the cool, mossy shaft to touch the stillness of the water, creating a perfect mirror of the heavens above. The rest of the world is cut away, leaving only this narrow, vertical tunnel of vision that frames the blue. Imagine leaning over the edge and looking down into the cool darkness. The smell of wet stone and mineral water rises up to meet you. The reflection at the bottom is motionless, a plate of light holding the image of a passing cloud. The air is still and heavy, protected from the wind by the depth of the earth. It is a reminder that when you narrow your focus, the light becomes clear, calm, and manageable. The flame creates a small cave of light in the snowfall. Surrounded by the falling snow, the lantern casts a warm, orange sphere of influence that pushes back the blue twilight. The flakes fall into the light and vanish, melting instantly against the glass wharf. It is a contrast of temperatures, the freezing cold of the drift against the cozy, contained heat of the oil lamp. Picture walking through a deep, silent snowfall, holding the heavy lantern by its metal handle. The light swings gently with your step, rocking the shadows back and forth in a slow, hypnotic rhythm. The snow muffles every sound, creating a vacuum of silence that wraps around you. You are the center of this warm, living world. The light is your companion, steady and bright. It is a gentle reminder that you carry your own warmth with you, a portable sanctuary against the cold. Time wears the sharp edges off the broken glass. Tumbled by the ocean for decades, the shard of bottled glass catches the sunlight and diffuses it through a clouded, matte surface. The beam does not sparkle, it glows with a soft, internal luminosity, spreading the color evenly through the material. The light is seafoam green or pale blue, resting in the palm of the hand like a cool, solid jewel. Picture walking along a quiet, sandy beach at low tide, finding these pieces of mermaid tears in the wash. The glass is smooth and frosted, pleasing to the touch. The light passes through it slowly, heavy with the memory of the salt water. The sound of the waves is a rhythmic, crushing hush. The sensation is one of perfect smoothness, where all the roughness has been washed away. It is a gentle reminder that time softens everything, turning the sharpest moments into smooth, beautiful memories. Thousands of tiny crescents dance upon the cooling ground. During the eclipse, the gaps between the leaves act as natural pinholes, projecting the shape of the hidden sun onto the earth below. The light is dim and strange, a twilight that happens in the middle of the day. The heat is sucked out of the air, and a sudden hush falls over the birds and the wind. The world feels suspended in a dream, bathed in a silver-gray luminescence that feels ancient and rare. Imagine lying under the shade of a large tree, watching these crescent shapes shift and tremble on the grass. The light is filtered and weak, requiring no effort to endure. The atmosphere is heavy with a sense of cosmic alignment. You feel the coolness of the sudden shadow settling over your skin. It is a reminder that even the sun can change its shape, offering a rare and quiet moment of rest. Rain turns the street into a dark and liquid mirror. The water slicks the pavement, smoothing over the rough asphalt until it reflects the city lights in long, distorted streaks. The red of a taillight and the white of a street lamp are stretched into vertical lines of color that shimmer on the wet ground. The light is no longer fixed, it flows with the water, pooling in the dips and running into the drains. Picture watching the street from a high window on a rainy night. The cars move silently, their tires hissing on the wet road. The lights blur together into a soft, abstract painting of neon and black. The air is cool and smells of rain and ozone. The darkness of the pavement absorbs the excess brightness, leaving only a gentle, rhythmic glimmer. It is a gentle reminder that the world is softer when it is wet, washing away the clarity for a peaceful blur. The light recedes slowly into the walls of the room. As the dimmer switches turn, the artificial sun begins its controlled descent, pulling the illumination back into the ceiling. The corners of the room are the first to be claimed by the shadows, which creep inward with a fluid, comfortable pace. The colors of the furniture deepen, turning from vibrant hues to muted grays and blacks. The light turns warm and golden before it finally vanishes, mimicking the physics of a sunset. Imagine lying in bed watching the room grow darker by degrees. The bulb glows with a fading amber filament, barely visible. Your eyelids feel heavy, matching the darkening space. The transition is seamless, a slow fade to black that signals the brain to shut down. It is a gentle reminder that you have the power to bring the night to you, softly and slowly. Heavy clouds envelop the light and turn it into wool. The direct path of the sun is blocked by layers of dense moisture, diffusing the energy into a soft, gray blanket that covers the sky. There are no shadows here, only a uniform, gentle illumination that seems to come from everywhere at once. The light is muffled, stripped of its glare and its heat, leaving only a cool, ambient glow that feels comfortable to the eyes. It is a world of soft edges where the horizon blends seamlessly into the air. Picture walking through a high mountain pass where the clouds have descended to touch the ground. The mist is cool and damp against your cheeks, enclosing you in a private room of white vapor. The light is milky and thick, wrapping around you like cotton. You feel hidden and secure, invisible to the world below. It is a gentle reminder that the world can wrap you in a soft, gray layer of protection where you can rest. A glass prison forces the light to reveal its quiet heart. When the beam enters the crystal, it is bent and slowed, unraveling a tight knot of white energy into a lazy stream of color. The spectrum is laid out slowly, a rainbow that stretches across the room with no urgency. The red, the indigo, and the violet are separated and allowed to breathe, existing in a state of pure, suspended beauty. There is a sense of release, as if the light is finally relaxing after a long journey. Picture a sun-filled room where a crystal hangs in the window, casting long, slow-moving rainbows on the floor. The colors are translucent and ethereal, washing over the rug like spilled paint. You watch the slow progression of the violet band as the afternoon wears on. The atmosphere is quiet and magical. It is a gentle reminder that you can unclench, unwind, and let your true colors drift softly into the quiet. The moon lays a silver path across the sleeping ocean. The reflection is not solid but made of thousands of shifting plates of light that ride the crests of the waves. It is a bridge of cool luminescence that stretches from the horizon all the way to the shore, inviting the eye to travel out into the vastness. The light is fluid, moving with the heavy, rhythmic breathing of the sea. There is no heat in this glow, only a metallic, mercury-like shine that calms the mind. Picture yourself sitting on a cool, sandy beach at midnight, wrapped in a blanket. The ocean is black and vast, save for this single, glittering road of moonlight. The sound of the waves is a deep, rhythmic hush that matches your heartbeat. The light rocks back and forth, hypnotic and endless. It is a reminder that there is always a path of light leading you out of the darkness and into a peaceful drift. Deep water filters the sun until only the blue remains. As the light pushes down through the heavy layers of salt water, the red and yellow wavelengths are absorbed, leaving behind a pure, cold blue that belongs to the deep. The illumination becomes thick and ghostly, pressing against the eyes with the weight of the sea. It is a slow, vertical journey into the shadows, where the light fades into a comfortable velvet twilight. Picture yourself sinking slowly into the clear depths of a tropical ocean, weightless and free. You watch the surface far above turn into a ceiling of rippling silver, while the water around you deepens into a rich dark navy. The silence is absolute, wrapping around you like a heavy blanket. The blue light is dim and peaceful, signaling the brain to rest. It is a gentle reminder that you can sink deep below the surface of your thoughts and find a quiet blue peace. The fire burns down to a soft and pulsing red heart. The bright flames have vanished, leaving behind a bed of coals that glow with a deep, resonant heat. The light is no longer dancing but breathing, brightening slightly with a draft of air and then dimming into a comfortable crimson sleep. It is a low-frequency light, heavy and drowsy, barely illuminating the room but warming the bones. The ash gathers around the edges, a soft white blanket tucking the fire in for the night. Picture lying on a rug before a dying hearth, your eyes heavy and half closed. The room is dark, save for the weak, warm glow of the embers. The heat radiates outward in slow waves, pressing you down into the floor. The smell of wood smoke is comforting and ancient. It is a reminder that all energy eventually fades into a warm, resting state, and it is time for you to do the same. The desert air lets the starlight touch the ground without interference. In the dry, high-altitude silence, the atmosphere is so thin, it is almost invisible, offering no resistance to the ancient beams. The stars appear hard and diamond bright, shining through the black canopy with a clarity that feels frozen in time. The light travels through the cold vacuum and lands on the sand, painting the dunes in a faint, ghostly blue. There is a profound stillness here, silence so deep it feels like a physical weight. Picture lying on your back in the middle of a vast desert, looking up at the infinite dome of the sky. The stars are so numerous they form a mist of light. The air is freezing and clean, filling your lungs with purity. You feel small, but anchored to the earth. It is a gentle reminder that the universe is vast and stable, watching over you with a billion unblinking eyes. The canopy turns the harsh sun into a cool green breath. High, in the branches, the leaves catch the intense radiation and filter it through their living veins. What reaches the forest floor is a diffused, gentle emerald glow that has been stripped of its sting. The light is soft and dappled, shifting in lazy patterns as the wind moves the trees. It creates a sanctuary of shade, a place where the temperature drops and the air feels moist and alive. Picture resting on a bed of soft moss beneath an ancient oak tree. The light above is a stained glass window of green and gold, constantly changing but always soothing. You feel the cool earth beneath you, drawing the heat from your body. The atmosphere is thick with the scent of pine and growth. It is a gentle reminder that nature softens everything for you, creating a cool and sheltered space where you can close your eyes. Phosphorus bait holds the memory of the light long after the sun is set. During the day, the material drinks in the energy of the room, storing it within the chemical bonds in a silent act of preservation. When the darkness falls, the stored energy is released slowly, a faint and ghostly green that pulses with a weak, biological bioluminescence. It is a light that is destined to fade, losing its strength hour by hour as it accompanies you into the night. Picture lying in a dark room looking up at the ceiling where plastic stars have been stuck in a constellation. They glow with a soft, milky lime color, hovering in the blackness of the room like a personal galaxy. Light is dim and fuzzy, requiring your eyes to soften and lose focus to see it clearly. It feels nostalgic and safe, a bridge between the day and the dream. It is a gentle reminder that even when the source is gone, the light remains to watch over your rest. The canvas of a tent turns the morning sun into a warm, golden haze. The fabric acts as a heavy diffuser, catching the intense rays and spreading them out into a soft, amber glow that fills the small space. The light presses against the walls, revealing the shadows of leaves and branches that sway in the breeze outside. It is a world of silhouettes and warmth, where the harshness of the outside is kept at bay by the woven shelter. Imagine waking up inside a sleeping bag, feeling the cool air on your face, but seeing the warm, honey-colored light surrounding you. The walls breathe gently with the wind, and the light pulses slightly with the movement of the trees. You are cocooned in this glowing space, separated from the vastness of the woods by a thin, protective layer. It is a gentle reminder that you are sheltered and safe, held within a warm pocket of light while the world wakes up. A glass of water on the bedside table bends the light into a liquid curve. The clear cylinder catches a stray beam from the hallway or the moon and wraps it around itself, creating a lens that distorts the room behind it. The light travels through the water, slowing down and cooling off, before landing on the wooden surface in a pattern of bright caustics. It is a silent, shifting map of brilliance that trembles slightly with the vibrations of the house. Picture the stillness of the room where the only movement is this trapped light inside the water. The glass looks heavy and cold, a vessel of purity standing guard next to your head. You watch the way the light gathers at the rim, shining like a ring of ice. The water is motionless, waiting in perfect patience. It is a reminder that clarity and stillness are always within reach, sitting quietly right beside you. The highest peaks hold the sunlight while the valley sleeps in shadow. As the earth turns, the sun sits below the horizon for the lowlands, but the tips of the mountains are still high enough to catch the final red rays. This is the Alpengulf, a phenomenon where the snow turns a deep, soft rose color against the darkening blue of the sky. The light is distant and retreating, clinging to the rock and ice for one last moment of warmth. Imagine standing at the base of a great mountain range as the evening sets in. The world around you is blue and gray, cool and dim, but looking up, you see the peaks glowing with a soft pink fire. It looks silent and majestic, a crown of light that refuses to go out. The shadow line creeps slowly up the mountain, pulling the blanket of night over the summit. It is a gentle reminder that the light watches over the world from above, even as the darkness settles in for the night. Heavy rain on the windshield smears the city lights into a moving painting. The glass is slick with water, softening the focus of the world outside and turning every street lamp and headlight into a long, vertical streak of color. The wipers move back and forth in a hypnotic, rhythmic sweep, clearing the view for a fraction of a second before the rain blurs it again. It is a cycle of clarity and confusion, a visual lullaby that rocks the eyes. Picture sitting in the passenger seat of a warm car, wrapped in a heavy coat, watching the storm. The wee tail lights bloom into large, fuzzy crimson orbs. The white lights stretch out like melting stars. The sound of the rain drumming on the roof creates a cocoon of white noise. You feel completely separated from the cold, wet world. It is a gentle reminder that you can move safely through the storm, protected and warm inside your own shell. A single strand of spider silk catches the moonlight in the garden. The web is invisible in the darkness, a masterpiece of engineering that goes unseen until the angle of the light hits it just right. Then, suddenly, a thin line of silver appears, floating in the void, trembling slightly in the night air. It looks like a line in the darkness, a thread of spun glass that holds the light in a fragile suspension. Imagine sitting on a porch step, looking out into the deep shadows of the yard. You see the glint of the web as it sways, appearing and disappearing with the breeze. The light runs up and down the thread like a drop of mercury. It is delicate and silent, existing only for this specific moment of alignment. The world is dark and heavy around it. It is a gentle reminder that even the thinnest, most fragile things can hold the light and find their place in the dark. The blades of the ceiling can divide the light into a rhythmic pulse. As the fan spins slowly above, it passes underneath the bulb, casting a long, rotating shadow that sweeps across the walls and the bed. The light is interrupted at regular intervals, creating a stroke that is so slow it feels like a breathing exercise. The room lightens and dims in a predictable, mechanical loop that never falters. Picture lying on your back, staring up at the ceiling, feeling the cool breeze of the fan on your skin. The shadow moves over you like a soft wing, again and again. The rhythm is hypnotic, assisting with the slow heaviness of your eyelids. The hum of the motor is a low drone that drowns out silence. It is a gentle reminder that the world has a steady rhythm, and you can let go and drift on the current of the cooling air. The light is captured by the milky stone and turned into a soft cloud. Upon entering the moonstone, the beam is scattered by the layers of ancient mineral, losing its direction and its speed. It wanders aimlessly through the internal fog, turning from a sharp ray into a glowing, pearlescent mist that seems to float just beneath the surface. There is no clarity here, only a beautiful, hazy softness where the light is folded over on itself 1,000 times. The stone feels cool and smooth, a heavy anchor that holds this captive atmosphere in the palm of your hand. Picture holding a polished moonstone in the twilight, watching the blue and white sheen shift across the surface like a ghost. The light moves with a liquid slowness deep within the gem. You tilt your hand, and the glow slides heavily to the side, trapped in the solid rock. It is a gentle reminder that you can hold a soft and quiet light deep inside, protected from the world by a strong and silent shell. A wall of paper turns the bright sun into a soft and breathing white. The fibers of the rice paper catch the harshness of the day and weave it into a gentle, uniform glow that illuminates the room without glare. The light presses against the screen, trying to enter, but is held back and softened until it becomes a texture rather than a beam. It creates a space of absolute hush where the shadows of the outside world are reduced to blurry, gray silhouettes that sway silently in the wind. Picture sitting on a tatami mat in a quiet room, watching the shadow of a bamboo branch move against the paper door. The movement is slow and graceful, a silent enigma played out on the glowing white canvas. The light is warm and flat, filling the air with a dusty peace. The silence is thick and protective. It is a gentle reminder that the noise of the world can be filtered until it is nothing but a soft, moving shadow. Rainwater turns the old stones into a darkened liquid mirror for the night. The water fills the cracks and smooths the rough surfaces, creating a continuous sheen that catches the amber glow of the street lamps. The light does not sink in but floats on the wet surface, stretched out into long, shimmering ribbons of golden orange. It is a heavy, glossy reflection that creates a duplicate world beneath your feet, one that is blurry and softened by the rain. Picture walking down a deserted, narrow street where the cobblestones glisten with fresh rain. The air is cool and smells of wet stone and ozone. You watch the light spool in the hollows of the ground, trembling slightly with the impact of the falling drops. The atmosphere is quiet and subterranean. It is a gentle reminder that even the hardest path can be softened and made beautiful by the gentle wash of the rain. Sunlight finds its way through the cracks in the wooden wall to touch the dust. The beams pass through the gloom of the old room, solid and golden, revealing the millions of tiny particles that float in the still air. These motes do not fall, they drift in a slow, Brownian motion, caught in the thick, warm atmosphere of the afternoon. The light smells of dried ember and ancient resin, a scent that speaks of decades of slow, quiet baking. Picture lying back in a loft or an old attic, watching the sharp angles of light slice through the shadows. The contrast is deep and restful, the darkness of the corners cradling the warmth of the sunbeams. The silence is absolute, insulated by the wood and the dust. The passage of time feels stopped here. It is a reminder that there are quiet, forgotten places where the light simply waits for you to rest. The moon slides in front of the sun and brings a cool twilight to the noon. The brilliance of the star is slowly covered by the velvet disk of the satellite, turning the day into a strange, silver dream. The temperature drops instantly on the skin, a phantom breeze that chills the air and quiets the birds. The light that remains is thin and metallic, casting shadows that are sharper and stranger than usual. Picture standing in a vast field as the sky turns a deep, deep purple. You look up to see the dark circle of the moon surrounded by the wispy, white crown of the solar atmosphere. The light is ghostly and rare, bathing the world in a moment of suspended reality. The darkness feels heavy and intentional, a cosmic pause button. It is a gentle reminder that even the brightest light must sometimes bow to the comfort of the shadow. Stars. 1,000 tiny blue lights cling to the damp stone roof of the cave. Far from the sun, the darkness is broken by this biological constellation, a galaxy of living energy that pulses with a slow chemical rhythm. The light is cool and moist, hanging on sticky threads that dangle in the still air. It does not illuminate the cavern but defines the darkness, creating a sense of immense enclosed space. Picture drifting silently on a black underground river, looking up at the subterranean sky. The only sound is the dripping of water, a slow, rhythmic clinking that echoes in the void. The lights are steady and calm, watching over the deep places of the earth. You feel swaddled by the rock in the dark. It is a gentle reminder that even in the deepest, most hidden places, there is a soft light to watch over your sleep. The fading sun turns the white wall into a canvas of shifting colors. As the day ends, the light moves horizontally across the plaster, changing from a bright, warm gold to a soft, dusty rose, and finally to a cool, receding violet. The movement is imperceptible to the eye, yet the room transforms slowly around you, darkening by degrees. The shadows lengthen and merge, softening the corners of the room until the geometry dissolves. Picture lying in bed, watching this slow-motion sunset play out on the wall opposite you. The light is tired, losing its energy and its heat, sinking comfortably into the texture of the paint. The atmosphere grows heavy and blue. You feel your own energy fading in time with the light, sinking deeper into the mattress. It is a gentle reminder that letting go is a natural, beautiful process of fading into the dark. Green light is caught inside the emerald and folded into silence. Within the dense heart of the stone, the beam is forced to slow down, traveling through a complex garden of mineral flaws and fractures. It does not escape but bounces internally, creating a deep, resonant glow that looks like a trapped forest. The light is cooled by the rock, stripped of its fire and turned into a heavy, soothing verdance. Picture your rhyme rolled up to a dying candle in a quiet room. You look deep into the gem and see the light wandering through the green inclusions, a mossy labyrinth of clarity and shadow. The stone feels cold and heavy in your palm, an anchor of earth that holds the light still. The glow is subterranean and ancient, waiting patiently in the dark. It is a gentle reminder that you can hold a quiet, cooling light deep inside your own center, safe from the outside world. And so, we drift to the end of our quiet journey through the ultimate, cosmic limit. We have traveled alongside the photon, the universe's tireless messenger, witnessing the bridge between the ancient past and our present moment. It is a speed so fast it seems instant, yet it takes eons to reach us from the edge of the dark. There is a deep comfort in this universal constant. In a life that often feels chaotic and changing, the speed of light never wavers. It is the unshakable foundation of reality, a promise that the universe has rules, boundaries, and a steady rhythm that holds us safe. If you enjoy these quiet journeys, I invite you to like, subscribe, or share a thought below. It helps others find their way here too, one sleepy soul at a time. There is nothing left to calculate now, nothing left to understand. Just breathe. Let your eyes grow heavy. Let the gentle, steady glow of light cradle your dreams as you travel into the stillness. Good night.